Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we've got some play-up props here for you on a Thursday with 5 games in the NBA to choose from. We've also got best bets with some sides and totals in a separate episode, so make sure you are subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with both shows each and every weekday moving forward. We also have the email newsletter now on thelines.com. That's going to be coming out next Friday, so not tomorrow, but starting 1 week from tomorrow. We will have that available with all the updates on thelines.com about all the sports that we're covering, especially excited to get into some baseball here pretty soon as well. Also want to mention that we will have a parlay bonus pick from our show that we place in the newsletter. Not going to put that one on the show. Going to make a little special parlay for you guys that Nate and I are going to be hoping to get some plus money winners for you that will be dropping in the newsletter there. So check that out starting next week, but sign up using the description, the link in the description of this video as well. So Nate, let's go ahead and jump right into your first play up prop here for Thursday night.
Yeah, if you watch the best bets, we like fading the Hornets here in the spot, and taking Kyrie under 10.5 rebounds and assists is a partial fade of that. I mean, this just hit beautifully with Jimmy Butler in the last time the Hornets suited up, where the game was non-competitive after one quarter. And you're like, of course, Jimmy, who had 19 PRA, but in 19 minutes, right? So it's just that's one scenario where this just hits immediately. But I mean, even if it's a competitive game, Kyrie getting 11 of these peripherals is by no means a lock, and books are tipping you that there's plus money on him to go over either 5.5 assists or 5.5 rebounds. And so it's like one or the other going to really tip it over to 11 here. I mean, we're talking minus 165 on him not getting 6 dimes. And that makes sense because the Mavs are not really moving the ball that well, and there are more playmakers out there. If PJ Washington's able to go, he's taking on more of a responsibility there. Max Christie continues to show what he can do. And, maybe it's just more of a Dinwiddie game because this is a Hornets team that is non-competitive and could easily just be blown out in the first half. And then there's no reason for Kyrie, who's been carrying a huge load recently, to just be out there and try to play make or get in there, mix up for rebounds. He's gone under in 5 of 7 since the trade. He's actually gone under in 18 of his last 23 overall. But since the trade, since this Mavs team was remade, the exceptions are an OT game against Sacramento, and then that last one out against the Lakers where everybody was primed up, and Kyrie knew he had to carry a big load in the double former teammate revenge. I'm not letting Luka and LeBron sun me here. So he mixed it up and got his nose in there for some boards. But overall, since the trade, 8 potential assists, 7 rebound chances per game. He's got to get almost all those potentials to get 11. So, I mean, it's just, I just don't think that certain stars are really looking to use a ton of their energy at this point in the season against Charlotte. I mean, last time out, for what it's worth, 33 points for Kyrie, but only 4 rebounds, 3 assists against Charlotte. And this is a situation now where Charlotte is no longer trying to compete, it seems.
Yeah, if they ever were. 5-point game in that one, a little bit different in the fact that obviously they were missing Luka, and it's a different beast. I'm actually okay adding the points. I can understand wanting to leave the points out of it if you're going under, but 37.5 PRA, you could get 38.5 to the under, and I like adding the points, mostly just because if you look at the teams that he's gone off against since the trade, and the teams that he's been really good against, teams that are good, teams that he has a reason to try against. The Kings, the Dubs, I guess not the Pellies as much, but in that game they were also missing everybody again. They actually needed a little bit more help in that game. They only won by 8. So that's what we're saying. The games that are close, and then the Dubs, they lost by 24. So you see the blowout there, 32 minutes goes under. Obviously a much better defense, but I think the point is 38 minutes of all you can get Kyrie ain't going to be coming into this game. I don't know why it would. I think if you're Kyrie, you realize that everything is dependent on you dropping 30 a night to take this team to anywhere in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs is going to be, that's the requirement. And so that's why would you try to do that against the Hornets? You're on full blown, LeBron on the Cavs. I know I got to carry this team to my 9th straight finals. So I'm going to take things easy down the stretch when I can and find my breaks. That's what Kyrie should be doing as well. That's what Jimmy Butler just did against his team. So I support it. The only thing I would say is the only reason it could be closer is because LaMelo was out in that last game and they clearly punted it. But does it really matter? LaMelo was available for 2 50-point losses. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me go over to that Bucks game with the Nuggets. I think there's going to be points in that game. And I do hope Giannis is around, but maybe not if I'm making this bet, which is Brolo. And I'm taking both of them. Like I'm taking the 16.5 PR here, but I'm letting you know that if you guys do want to take like anything along the lines of just points or rebounds individually, I think both of those are good bets, which is why I'm happy to take it on the PR. But if you look at him against Denver, it's these situations with Brolo where he's going to be in there to be the main defender of Jokic, and Jokic is going to continue to be doing a lot of his work in the post, where he does a lot of his assisting from there these days with everybody out on the floor. It's a lot better for him at times to be down low when you have all 5 of your normal starters out there, as opposed to really worrying about facilitating when like guys like Jamal Murray and stuff aren't out there. So I think that brings Brolo closer to the basket for the boards. You talk about why, like, and one of the sort of filters that I've used to figure out how do I say a team that he's going up against is good down low? How can I sort of prove that? So, things like points in the paint or limiting of points in the paint. And if you look at the teams that are good down low because they're either tops in rebounding or tops in scoring in the paint, Brolo's averaging 5.6 rebounds per game in 17 games versus the top 10 rebounding teams. And it's pretty much the same number versus the teams in the top 10 in terms of scoring down low and rebounding. So both categories there for him. The Nuggets are still giving up the 9th most rebounds to centers on the season, for a couple of reasons, but mostly like Jokic is either doing his best to just box out, or he's getting switched off of. Obviously, it's not because he's a bad rebounder; it's just because of where the shots are falling and because of where he is defensively on the floor. But I don't like rebounds for guys like Aaron Gordon, for example. Like I think they're going to have trouble getting boards in this one. He's going to be guarding Giannis, guys like that. Like I think there's going to be more available boards for Brolo. You look at where the Nuggets are worst; it's giving up spot ups and it's giving up assists. And Brolo is getting most of his stuff off catch and shoot via assists, which is how you get the catch and shoot. So I think he's a perfect prototype for beating the Nuggets for the points here.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't the only one expected points. It's 241. Like as much as I do like the Nuggets, we're down to -2.5. Wow, what news just came out here? Okay,
check that out.
But yeah, I like the Nuggets, but I don't expect them to do it with defense. I expect them to light it up. And yeah, Joker's not matching that D. With Brook Lopez, I hope there's some internal conversation about building up his confidence, because he just stopped shooting against Houston. Like he couldn't hit in that last game out. But you got to assume they talk about the reason I'm fading the Bucks is like, we need some third scorers here, Brook. We need you to fire, and we need you to pull the Joker away a little bit. So maybe he is ready to pull that trigger.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal seems pretty confident though. Over 18.5 points, still a good price at MGM. It's been juiced up in most places since I put this in the doc here. But I mean, why wouldn't he stay hot? Like, I mean, shooting the damn leather off the ball his last 7. The trade swirling rumors have passed. He has, indicated he wants to be here, and whatever is going on in that Suns locker room, they're at least like, hey, let's go out there and score some points. I guess I can't say they think they're like going anywhere or they're ready to play defense, but it's working as far as Beal back in the starting lineup. Tyus Jones basically benched, only 17.5 minutes per game out of the break here. So Beal's been the point guard. Book's been the point guard at times. He actually has a ton of potential assists and room for growth there. So I am kind of leaving the assists out here for Beal. But because, I mean, the matchup is better for him to just kind of cook as an above the break shooter who's red hot. Like I said, Pell's allowing the second most above the break threes in their last 10 and 5th most mid-range attempts. And Beal averaged 21 a game on 60 and 57% his last 4 against the Pels with Phoenix. And in these last 7, he's shooting 56 and 45%, getting 23 a game. This number is temptingly low, but I think you can ride it at least one more here with another game that has a total approaching 240.
Yeah, perfect spot against the Pellies. Like, just keep it going. And I also like continuing to take Devin Booker assists off of this when he's out there with Beal and KD, averaging more assists per game. Also averaging more assists when he's on the floor with both those guys versus just one of them being out. So a lot of dimes available against another horrible defense, limiting everything, assists and the like, right? So I do think that like the Pellies can hang a little bit in terms of keeping it within 9. It is the type of defense that you would prefer to have against a team like Phoenix than otherwise. Like, they're not going down low, so you don't got to worry about Nick Richards beating up on Eve Missy. I do also think it's interesting though. The reason I stayed away from that and didn't even bring it up in the best bets episode is because the Pellies went from awful to winning twice in a row against the Spurs, who are also awful, but Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown were on the team and both playing good minutes. Kelly Olynyk starting alongside Missy and them, and they're playing big, and it worked, and they won. And now, mysteriously, after 2 wins, Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown are both injured or out for rest in this one after they helped them win 2 games. So I don't think the Pellies are trying to win, but I still don't think that the Phoenix Suns should be given the benefit of the doubt of blowing anybody out. So I think we're still going to get plenty of good action in this game to keep it close enough that, I mean, shit, Beal could have this in the first point. Like you said, he's on absolute fire. So let me close it out with Wendell Carter Jr., and I'm going in with an over for him. You can either get 7.5 boards, 16.5 points in rebounds, though, does kind of de-juice it a little bit because you've got some really bad juice on the 7.5 rebounds, and you would have to take 8.5 to get anything like near plus money or close to even money. So I think the points and rebounds are probably a better play, but in part, I like this a lot because of the boards against the Dubs. Golden State has definitely gotten much better at rebounding, but the thing that stood out to me is they've gone up to 9th in terms of rebound percentage on the season, or at least over the last 7 with Jimmy out there. But if you look at the way that they're limiting center rebounds, they're still bad where they've been all season, because as good of a player as Draymond is, even as old as he is, he's still 6'5". Like I think he's listed at 6'6" or 6'7". Ain't no way. Like he's like 6'5", 6'4". He's like the Charles Barkley treatment, right? So there's still going to be guys who are just like, well, you can box me out, but I'm just going to reach over you real quick, grab that rebound because I have 6 inches on you, or 7. And that's going to be the case here for Wendell anyway. Like long arms, about 6'10", 6'11", going up against 6'4" Draymond Green. So I love the boards for that. They're still allowing the 9th most rebounds per game to centers in their last 7 for the Dubs. So like I said, you see them uptick in rebound percentage overall, but still one position on the court that they're having a lot of trouble keeping off the boards. If you look at the last 5, I was a little bit sort of not concerned, but I was at least keeping tabs on Wendell Carter last game, going, okay, well, he missed the end. He got taken out of the Wizards game a couple games ago and then didn't play the rest of the half. It seemed like it was a coach's decision because he was getting a technical and was fired up and they just wanted to beat the Wizards and get out of there. But Goga played like 22 minutes and outminuted him in that game. So last game, I was like, is Wendell Carter back? He's back. They lost to the Cavs by like 1 million, but he still played 26 minutes and was clearly going to continue to play close to 30 if that thing wasn't a blowout by, the third quarter, essentially. So I think that showed me that he's still the guy. And in this matchup, this is a bit of a better matchup for him, a little bit more versatile of a player than Goga, and can pull guys out to the 3-point line as well. So I think he'll be able to run with the Dubs. He's at 10 points per game in the last 5. He's looking at 27 minutes per game, but that would be up about 29 to 30 if he didn't miss because of that technical, like I said, and get taken out and have way fewer minutes in that game against the Wizards. So you give him 27 minutes per game, it's 28 or so. He's really good for this 16.5. He's averaging 18.5 points and rebounds in the games where he's played at least 25 minutes this season. I think we bank him closer to 30. So gonna ride with him on the PR in this one.
Same idea. I mean, you're going for the shooting center here that needs to step up because the 2 main options are going to see a lot of defensive attention here from the Warriors. As we mentioned, yeah, you got Draymond and Jimmy on Frollo. That's going to leave Wendell Carter open to fire. And yeah, centers have kind of eaten glass against this Dubs team. I don't see that changing necessarily either.
Yep, 100%. All right, we'll let you take that call as we roll out of here. That's all the time we have for you guys in Player Props. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that page and check out the lines.com email newsletter starting next Friday. Don't want to miss any of the action that we've got coming out on the lines to help you guys with all your bets and all of these sports. And until we see you next, happy betting.